Russia deploys troops for amphibious operations on islands in Kherson. Ukraine strives to hold ground. Russian forces in Kherson are attempting to conduct amphibious landings on islands in the Dnieper River that flows through the region, according to Andriy Kovalenko, head of the Center for Countering Disinformation under Ukraine's National Security and Defense Council. According to Mr. Kovalenko, Russian forces in the Kherson region are trying to carry out landing operations on the islands. However, Ukraine's defensive forces are effectively preventing these efforts, causing Russia to suffer losses. The adversary is threatening us with an assault on the city of Kherson. Currently, their main objective is to attempt group landings on specific areas of the islands using boats, Mr. Kovalenko emphasized. Ukrainian forces in Kherson are currently facing threats from Russian drones, artillery, and fighter jets. Recently, Russian military activities have intensified in the Kherson area. According to RBC Ukraine, Moscow may launch an offensive on Kherson. To achieve this, they are likely to deploy up to 4,000 assault troops. On the same day, Alexander Putin, head of the military administration of Kherson appointed by Ukraine, stated that Russia has increased its shelling of the city of Kherson and is dispatching reconnaissance teams to secure footholds on territories controlled by Ukraine's defense forces in the region. We are witnessing an escalation in Russian activity. The adversary has intensified maneuvers involving personnel and equipment and has increased firepower by deploying multiple weapons. Notably, Russia has launched airstrikes using guided bombs on certain roads and settlements. Mr. Putin said, "The situation in Kherson has become particularly tense as both Russia and Ukraine escalate military activities to gain battlefield advantages." Russia's attempts to land troops on the islands in the Dnieper River highlight Moscow's strategy to establish a foothold for potential assaults on key areas, particularly the city of Kherson. However, these efforts have faced fierce resistance from Ukraine's defense forces, showcasing Kyiv's resilience and effective combat organization. Russia is not solely focusing on amphibious operations, but is also employing a multi-pronged strategy involving drones, artillery, and guided bomb airstrikes. This demonstrates Moscow's effort to leverage technological and numerical superiority to pressure Ukraine's defensive lines. However, the losses Russia has incurred during these attacks may hinder the pace of its advances and its ability to sustain long-term pressure. For Ukraine, facing a potential force of up to 4,000 assault troops poses a significant challenge. Nonetheless, the coordination between ground defense units and reconnaissance forces has proven effective in halting Russian advances. Furthermore, Ukraine's efforts to reinforce defenses along transportation routes and strategic areas will play a pivotal role in maintaining control over Kherson. The current situation raises the question of whether Russia can sustain its high-intensity offensive strategy, given Ukraine's demonstrated ability to mount strong resistance. Kherson is likely to remain a fierce battleground in the near future, where both sides will continue testing new tactics to gain the upper hand. Assessments on the future of the conflict in Kherson and the Russia-Ukraine war. The Kherson battlefield. The situation in Kherson is expected to escalate further in the coming days. Russia's attempts to land troops on islands in the Dnieper River are aimed at gaining a strategic edge. However, strong resistance from Ukraine could force Moscow to adjust its strategy. If Russia fails to achieve its tactical objectives in Kherson quickly, the rising costs of war and human losses may compel it to seek alternative means of maintaining its presence. Overall strategy. The Russia-Ukraine war has entered a prolonged phase of attrition, where both sides face significant challenges. While Russia has advantages in military resources, it contends with international pressure, economic sanctions, and potential erosion of domestic support. Ukraine, despite substantial Western aid, struggles with maintaining military strength and rebuilding war-torn areas. The role of the international community. Western support will remain critical to Ukraine's ability to sustain and execute military campaigns. However, prolonged conflict could lead to aid fatigue in some countries. Conversely, Russia may seek support from nations like China, Iran, or other allies to offset losses and expand its combat capabilities. Short and long-term prospects. In the short term, intense battles are expected in key areas such as Kherson, Donetsk, and Zaporizhia. In the long term, the resolution of the war will depend on various factors: Russia's persistence, Ukraine's resilience, and international pressure to push for a diplomatic solution. Even if a ceasefire or peace agreement is reached, tensions between Russia and Ukraine are likely to persist. Political rivalries, regional influence competition, and unresolved territorial disputes will keep Eastern Europe a geopolitical hotspot in the future. This is War Records, where history is etched through timeless battles. Don't forget to follow us to uncover legendary stories.